What's up, guys? Dr. Matt Westheimer here, and today we're going to talk about hydration. This was a question that I actually got recently where somebody asked me if they could talk about how much water should we be drinking, how do we stay hydrated enough, how do I know if I'm dehydrated, and so I want to talk a little bit about that today. Now, there's certain things that are really important about hydration that a lot of people know. There's other things that people really don't know and can be affecting their health. So we need to be drinking enough water every day. What does that look like? They say an ounce for every kg, so meaning half of your body weight in pounds in water per day. Really, that's different for everybody though. Some people are sedentary, some people are more active, some people go to the bathroom a little bit more, some people are eating more vegetables and fruits which contain more water in them. So really, how much water should we be drinking every day? It's very difficult to say. Here's what's important. You want to drink when you're thirsty, but that doesn't work for some people. Like myself, I don't want to give anybody the impression that I have it all put together and that I do everything perfect, because I don't. And if you want to ask anybody that can tell you that, my wife will absolutely tell you that I am not perfect. So just the other day, I actually literally gave myself a headache through dehydration. Now you're saying, Doc, you should know better. You're a doctor, you talk about health. I do, but I'm not perfect. The other day, I was incredibly busy. And when I'm busy with work, when I get on and I'm doing audios or podcasts or research, I forget to eat, I forget to drink, I forget everything. So I had my morning cup of coffee. I didn't have my greens in the morning like I usually have, which is a big glass of water with a scoop of greens powder in them. So I didn't have that. I just had coffee. Then went back for a second cup of coffee. And before I knew it, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I hadn't had a single glass of water the entire day. I know, tisk, right? I should know better. You're right, I should know better, but I make mistakes. So after that, ended up having a headache because I was dehydrated. So I worked on the rest of the day hydrating myself, went to bed, still wasn't feeling well, woke up the next morning, I felt fine, and I made sure that I didn't make that mistake again. So how do we do that? How do we make sure that we're drinking enough water? Here's a couple of things. Number one, what do I do? First thing in the morning, because what I used to do was I would just go have coffee in the morning and then that's it, but I didn't know when I was going to drink water again. So what you do is first thing in the morning, have a big glass of water. And the reason why I hesitated for a second is because there's a lot of ways you can do this. Number one, you can do it with a greens powder in it, an organic cold pressed greens powder. You just dump a scoop in a big glass of like 16 ounces of water, and you can drink that down. Other people like to put some fresh squeezed lemon in. That's fantastic. Other people like to put anywhere from a teaspoon to a tablespoon of raw apple cider vinegar. That's great as well. Another thing that is really, really valuable to do if you're having distilled water. Now, if you're having spring water, not that big of a deal, but if you're having distilled water and you can drink too much water and disrupt the electrolyte balance in your body. So you want to be having electrolytes. Now, you can get one called Element. That's a fantastic electrolyte supplement. Another thing that you can do, a little hack that you can do, is you get a really high quality salt, like Celtic sea salt. Another one is Redmond's salt, which comes out of Utah, the salt beds of Utah, which is fantastic. And you just take a pinch of that salt and drop it in your water. If you just do a pinch, you don't taste it, but it adds minerals to the water and electrolytes to the water, so that way it's not disrupting that delicate balance in the body. It's actually allowing you to absorb more of that water rather than flush it out of your system and pull minerals out of your body. So you add minerals back into the water before you drink it. Another way that you can do that is by getting a trace mineral supplement and putting a few drops of that in there as well. That's another fantastic way to have your water and hydrate yourself rather than screw things up by having just large quantities of distilled water. That's no good. What's another thing that you can do? Just to be safe, what you can do is take your body weight, then half of your body weight in pounds and ounces. So if you weigh 150 pounds, it would be 75 ounces. What does that look like? Basically, a little over 2 liters of water. That's pretty much what it is. So you take 2-liter bottles. I'd recommend either glass or stainless steel. You don't want to use plastic. And ahead of time, the night before, fill those up with water. Put a couple pinches of that high quality salt in each of the bottles of water. And then you just have to make a commitment to yourself by the end of the day, you're gonna finish those bottles of water. So if you're not finished by the end of the day, we have a problem. Now you don't want to obsess on it, but the next day, just make sure that you get better and better. And a great way of making sure that that gets done is when you wake up, you're dehydrated. And you could be dehydrated from being a mouth breather at night, but totally separate subject. We'll talk about that. But when it comes to in the morning, you haven't had anything to drink all night, so you wake up in a dehydrated state. So if you take one of those bottles and just chug half of it first thing in the morning, so about 16 ounces, first thing in the morning, that's gonna go a really, really long way. And that's gonna really help to kick things into gear. And then you just keep up consistently with that throughout the rest of the day. So I hope this helps. You take action on these. Are small, simple things that you can do that are really gonna go a long way. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you soon.